Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Unfiltered commentary. Not your truth, the real truth. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for your support. Hi, folks. Welcome back. Oh, boy. Newsbusters.org. Insane is right. MSNBC host thinks DeSantis wants to codify white supremacy by banning CRT. That's a little sound effect in there because this is comical. It really is. It's amazing to me. Absolutely astounding. These people can't be this stupid. You know, after watching Tim Pool last night, and the rapper there, I don't know, R.A., tough guy or whatever the hell he calls himself, and he just went nuts and swung at the mic and ended up making a piece later. But this is the reality, that these progressive leftists, the ones that are the brainwashed ones, not the ones that are the grifters that are making millions, well, there are some grifters making millions that believe it as well, cannot be reasoned with, period. You know, you don't sit down with them and say, well, John, you know, when you take some of these real far leftists and you sit down with them one-on-one and just talk to them, and you realize, of course, that we have a lot more in common than we have separate. Blah, 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 blah. Absolute bull. That's over. That's over. It's been over. We just haven't known it yet. They cannot be reasoned with. I am not calling for violence. I'm not calling for rounding them up and putting them in camps or any of that crazy crap that they want to do to us, conservative people, and those people that believe in the Constitution and the country and love the country. Imperfect as it is, we still think it's the greatest country in the world. They think we're evil. That puts us at a very distinct disadvantage. I'm not saying use the evilness and the anger and the violence that they use, but trying to reason with them is over. Any discussions I get in now that get somewhat heated, and we're all polarized, and there's a lot of people I know that are way on the left, I give it right back as good as I get it, and at the end I say, F you. You're a brainwashed clone. Get out of my face. No more. No more. We've wasted too much time and too much mental and physical energy trying to reason with these morons. The only way to beat them is at their own game. Use the courts and the ballot box. Make them so insignificant politically in this country that they finally flip, because they will. Their heads will just explode as they lose election after election after election. Whether it be Congress, the presidency, local mayor races, you name it, county exec. I used to be a city councilman years ago, city council. Go through the list. All of it's been taken over by progressive leftist nut bars. Ask anyone that's had the unfortunate circumstance of having a family member or a friend, especially back in the 70s and 80s, who got mixed up in a cult, who have a totally different sense of reality. They are in the matrix, so to speak. They don't see the real world. Like the guy said last night on Tim Pool. Well, you know, you entitled to your opinion how you see things. He goes, well, you mean the real world? They think the world is flat, period. Confront them at every given opportunity. It's incredibly draining mentally and physically, I know. It has to be done. So let's read on. NBC is known for its insane and vile commentary, which occurs almost on a daily basis, but this might be one of the craziest comments of the week. That's saying a lot. That's like saying Ted Bundy did something horrible. Oh, okay. Oh, worst that he's ever done. Oh, really? Okay. During a segment of MSNBC's The Beat with Ari Melber, I wish I had a little music to go along with that. Let's see if we can find something here. Oh, here we go. That's for The Beat with Ari Melber. Fill-in host Jason Johnson, sounds like a porn star from the 70s, discussed Governor Ron DeSantis' support of legislation that would ban critical race theory in public schools in Florida. Johnson claimed that the proposed legislation titled Stop Woke Act is DeSantis' new effort to codify white supremacy for political gain. I'm making a joke out of this with sound effects because it is a joke, but these people are dangerous. Let's read on. While it is perfectly normal to have disagreements on matters of public policy, no, we passed disagreements 10, 15 years ago. What isn't okay is conjuring up false motives to smear your political opponents. That's all they do. That's been done. I mean, anybody wants the miniseries John Adams, the thousands and thousands of advertisements and letters and horrible things they said about him when he tried to run for re-election, and found out later a lot of it was paid for by his former best buddy, Thomas Jefferson. So, what is exactly what Johnson did, no sane person thinks that banning the teaching of a racist and anti-historical agenda like critical race theory is an attempt at reinforcing white supremacy in America. I'm 65. I read about slavery, the main reasons for the Civil War. There were multiple reasons, but eventually the main reason that came up was the moral reason of slavery. I get it, but it was states' rights too. It was an overreaching federal government. All those things were in play. Some people have an idea those things were the main reason. Well, and the reason ended up being, in the end, like anything else, that kind of carnage and suffering had to be for something more than states' rights. And it ended up being that. The freeing of human beings from bondage. Not a problem. Johnson also repeated the lie that CRT is an influence in public schools and it's merely a graduate level course. Anybody, well, we weren't around back then, but in 1900, 1905, give or take, there was a theory of biology and sociology both together that was huge. It was in all of the big colleges, all the accredited colleges, which of course back then were 99% white, was taught in academia by professors. There were courses. It was letters and opinion pages were written all over the country in all the newspapers. It was the talk of everything for years. And it was dead cold stone science, they said. And it was called eugenics. Anybody believe that horse crap now? Very few. The white supremacists might, because it was baloney. And other things that start would be just like critical race theory. Were they teaching eugenics at the elementary school, in junior high and high school level, if you went that far in school back then? Technically, no. But they were teaching that certain races were inferior by biology. And breeding will bring around a more strong and intelligent human being. They taught that. So you could go back there and say, you're teaching eugenics to fifth graders. No, we're not. Technically, they're right. Just like they're not teaching CRT to elementary school kids. It is a graduate level course, but the principles of it they're teaching them. They do it in math. They do it in science. It's a virus that's slowly slipping in. One such example occurred in Philadelphia where fifth grade students were forced to celebrate black communism. and simulate a Black Power rally in honor of political radical Angela Davis. That's the one, by the way, that bought all those guns. I believe it was in the 70s. I'm trying to remember. I got out of high school in 74. Who bought all those guns that were used and killed many people. She was an anarchist, a revolutionary communist. And now she's honor at a political rally for fifth graders. Yes, that's CRT in practice. None of this matters to Jason Johnson. The narrative is all that matters to leftists on MSNBC. Johnson wasn't alone, though. He brought in his panel to join him spewing crazy conspiracy theories and straw man arguments against DeSantis. These people are nuts. They're in their death throes. Now, I actually think now it's past that point where they're just doing this to make money. I believe they're actually infected with this progressive virus, and they live in a different reality than normal people. Howard University Associate Professor Naomi Carter accused DeSantis of wanting to stoke white fears and raise anxiety levels to win elections. While Democrat strategist Juanita Tolliver chimed in saying, racist people and parents in Florida are going to be suing every school, every teacher, every school district who dares to apply CRT in school. Good. CRT has no business being in schools. It's a theory. It's an intellectual study. It should be done at the college level. Period. Jason Carter, just like eugenics. Jason Carter, Tolliver know that when they're saying isn't true. I'm not so sure anymore. They're fairly capable of reading the full text of the Stop Woke Act and realize that what they're saying is completely false. That I do believe. Ironically, they are doing the very thing that are accusing DeSantis of doing, stoking racial grievances for political gain. Exactly right. I did an episode earlier on 2024 presidential election, Trump and DeSantis. I will be absolutely heartbroken if Trump either can't or won't run for president in 2024. DeSantis would get my vote in a millisecond. But I think Trump's the man. It takes a certain kind of crazy to fight a certain kind of crazy. And I do have to say, DeSantis is doing a good job in Florida. Not perfect, but nobody is. This is what we're up against. And like I said before, you cannot sit down and talk reasonably with these people. You cannot. They believe the world is flat. Conservative people think they're misguided. They think we're evil. And anything you can say or do to stop evil is okay. How do you deal with that? You make them such a small, tiny percent and push them out of politics either completely or 90%, make them basically invisible, and make them irrelevant. Irrelevant is the perfect term. So I know it's draining. Do not back down. Give it right as good as you get it. Give it right back. It's time that we fought back. Trump made a lot of mistakes, but the one thing he did do, he taught conservative people that didn't know how to fight back, how to fight back. And for that, I'm grateful. The battle lines are being drawn. Now we have to take a side whether you want to or not. Because what happens is, ask anyone in history, we'll take the American Revolution. There was the loyalists, the rebels, and a third in the middle. And that third in the middle got the worst of it. Why? Because if you don't take a side, someone will take it for you. And it almost always is the side you wouldn't have picked. Pick a side. The lines are being drawn. And the battle is coming. Until next time, goodbye and good luck.